So, good day, good evening, Lockstafari Mizusagi on your channel. This week has been a week of mixed emotions. It is July, the week of July, fourth week of July now. On Saturday, the 24th of July, 24th was it? Yes, I think it was my final day at uni, for my second year. So I ended my second year with 2 mind-boggling exams. I'd like to think that I did pretty okay, but I was in celebratory mood and I came back home to discover that the talented but troubled star Amy Winehouse had been pronounced dead at about 3 something or coming to 4 o'clock. Funny enough, my exams finished at 4 o'clock. I would say I wasn't 100% a fan of hers initially until one of my girls handed me over her CD and I started playing it and I thought, this is just too much for some white girl. Why is she sounding all black? But to be honest, and I'm just saying it because she's passed on, because I hate the word dead, she was through and through talented. I think regardless of her drug addiction and her alcohol addiction, she was very talented, very Nigerian to say that, very talented. She flew the flag for Britain. You know, she was British, half Jewish, half white, British, Caucasian British, as far as I'm concerned. But she flew the flag for, you know, Britain very well. She lived in Camden, which is North London, not too far from here either. I'm not giving away my location. But in regards to Amy, what I will say is one thing I respected about her, irregardless of all the controversy that surrounded her personal life. I've said it like 10 times, she was talented, but even though she knew what she was doing in her personal life was wrong, one thing I admired about her, and I have to admit because it's a rarity when, and I know it sounds really weird to say this and I'll probably be criticised for it, but hey, she was her. Amy was Amy. You can't copy, paste, you can't photocopy that. She's an original. There's no duplicate copy of her. Let me get my phrases right, because I grew up, I'm an extrovert, a sanguine, and I've always been loud, but not as outspoken as people who watch and love, I would have wanted to be. For the fact that she didn't, in a sense, I feel like the fact that she didn't hide her drug addiction, or that she couldn't hide her drug addiction and she went along with not being able to hide it, doesn't mean she didn't have any shame. I think it was a sense of, I'd like to think it was a sense of, yeah, this is me, this is my life, fuck you if you don't like it. However, this is what can happen. She sort of made it, I'm not trying to make excuses for her drug addiction, just let me point that out, but it was almost, in a sense, she was on TV and she was in the media, and it's a good example to the children who are coming up, seeing how her life did pan out, what not to do. There's a show called What Not to Wear, how not to live your life. You know, you can be outspoken, you can be you, but you don't have to be driven by drugs and alcohol. You know, I know a lot of us when we were younger, we experimented and stuff like that, but it comes a time. She was 27 years old, you know, I'm 3 years older than her. I mean, I've shed some tears for her shamelessly here today, because I just thought, wow, I can't imagine the pain her mum must be going through, her family members, somebody you carried for 9 months, let's say, you watched grow up and turn into a woman, and literally Amy died before her mother's eyes. Like, for every time she had that crack, cocaine, or whatever it was she was taking, she was dying in front of her mother's eyes. And it's sad, like, it just makes you think the kind of mind frame she was in. Yes, it was self-destructive, but that's somebody that was hurting from within, and you look at what the papers had written about her, and we're looking at Amy Winehouse as a brand, but this was somebody's daughter, this was somebody's hope for tomorrow. I have a daughter myself, just like 4, very extroverted, worse than me, I'd like to think, but others wouldn't. And when I look at this situation around me, like, as a mother, all you really and truly want to do is, like, make sure kids are alright, provide them with a good future. And to me, it seems like her mum, sorry, I'm just a bit emotional, it seems that her mum had finally sort of encouraged, pushed, got Amy to where she should have been. She was at the forefront. She had one of the best opportunities that there is available for anyone, She was doing what she loved. She was a musician, she was an artist, songwriter, she was a performer. But it's obvious that she wasn't happy from within, Something was something was eating her up from within. And that kind of pain, definitely don't think the drugs could heal it, but it almost feels like, and I was thinking about this earlier, that somebody should have just hugged her for like days, hours. There's a scene in The Simpsons that I was watching with Ned Flanders when he had this mental breakdown, and the doctor that they took him to stop him from being bad or whatever when he was younger, because then he had a breakdown. What stopped him from having his tantrums when he was younger was they continually smacked him for like a year or so before he was healed, and then he ended up having this breakdown at 40. And with Amy, you almost feel like, because she was a household name over here, like, regardless of whether people were laughing at her, she was the butt of all jokes, but she was a household name. You can't go anywhere in and around London, in and around the UK, or the world at large, without knowing who Amy was. And it just seems to me that she just needed a hug from within. It sounds very, very tacky, cocky, or whatever, but she needed Jesus, man. She needed Jesus. She needed a hug from within. Poor baby. I've been downloading a lot of her tracks lately and listening, and you don't get a lot of original, non-counterfeit stars anymore. You don't get anyone that really goes against the grain, goes against the current, and tries to curve or cut out their own path. She really did, make her mark. She wasn't around the music scene like the Michael Jacksons or the Stevie Wonders or whoever you want to put in, but she truly, in that sense, the fact that she was somebody's daughter, she's a human being, she's a little star. Might not have been a big star, but she was a little star, you know. So Amy, I'm gonna attempt to sing one of your songs, not all of it. Okay, so it's Back to Black. I've been watching the videos all evening, and I'm just waiting for like 12 midnight to watch like a tribute of his songs. I haven't really practiced, so we only said goodbye with words. I died 100 times. You go back to her, and I go back to black. As Mitch Winehouse said, good night, Angel.